Hello, my name is Professor Melanie Turano, and this video will show you how to properly format your essays using the MLA documentation style. What I have on the screen right here is a perfect example of what an MLA formatted document should look like. So let me just point out some of the key factors here. First is this student has created a header, as you can see. This is a header because it will go onto every single page automatically without you having to actually type it in. So if I click on this, you'll see that I get this notification that it is in header, and so whatever I change in here will be changed on every single page. Unfortunately, one of the negative aspects of MLA using Word, like we're doing right now, is that Word automatically uses its default font, whereas the MLA calls for Times New Roman 12 point. So when you're first setting up your header, you'll have to make sure that you change this particular font right here to the Times New Roman. Secondly, the document also consists of a standard header that only appears on the first page of your document, and that will be your name as a writer, your professor or instructor's name next, and I always recommend that you find out what your professor prefers as a title and then use that title and the last name, as we are trying to be professional. Next will be the course name, and so this is for English 105, and then at our college this would be followed by a dash and a section. And then the date that you are creating the draft, the document. You should always keep your dates up to date. Notice that the MLA calls for the day, then the month, and then the year. This is all double spaced. What comes next is a title that is centered. She makes her own choices is the name of this student essay. And then if I scroll down, you will see that this entire document is double spaced. Another unfortunate change that came about many years ago in Word is that Word typically puts an extra space between paragraphs, which will make your document incorrect if you don't manually change that. So I'm going to be talking about that in another moment. You'll see onto the second page, we have that continued header because I changed it on the first page. But the second page does not have your name, professor's name, etc. It's simply last name, page number in the header, and you continue typing. Goes on to a third page. Goes on to a fourth page, this essay. And then we finally get to the works cited page. And so in this particular case, there's only one entry on the works cited page, and it is double spaced as well, and it uses something called the hanging indent, and that is because the first line of type hangs over the second line of type, and this is done by a special setting within Word to make it very easy. You can manually do this too, but you'll have much less success and much more frustration and even aggravation, which we want to avoid at all costs. So this is a 5-page document, and it actually looks really great. So you want to pay particular attention to this. All of your essays will be judged on your ability to format them correctly and to follow detail and pay attention to that detail. So So I'm going to go over to a blank document so that we can learn how to do exactly what I showed you here. So if I start with my blank document, I'm going to show you some of the easier ways. I'm going to do some shortcuts. By the way, what I'm showing you is not the only way to manipulate a document in MLA within Word, but it's one of the easiest that I have found. First thing is I always set up my header, and I can do that by clicking on Insert. And rather than going to the header, I choose page number. It just makes it so much easier, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. If I click on page number, I'm going to get a drop-down menu, and we want to go to top of page. And since my information has to be on the right-hand side, justified on the right, I'm going to go over here and choose this plain number 3. Plain number 3 is going to give me just a number 1. If I put my cursor in front of that number 1 and type my last name with a space, you will see that I now have a header that will repeat on each page. Remember what I said earlier, I am now going to have to select this manually and choose the Times New Roman font. I can choose that here by going to Times New Roman. I was using Times New Roman earlier, so it appears at the top of my menu, but you may have to scroll all the way down alphabetically to find that. Times New Roman, and I want it in size 12 point. That now is going to leave my header in the upper right-hand corner correctly formatted. Next comes my name. So, Jamie Jones. Right away I'm going to stop. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to be sure that everything is in Times New Roman 12 point. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure that everything on my page is double spaced. Next comes my professor's name. Jamie Jones is in my class, Professor Turano. If you select everything here in your MLA and you go to your home, you will find a paragraph tool. Go over here to the right and click on this tiny little button, and you'll get these options. The first thing I choose is I want everything on my page to be double spaced. And the second thing that I choose is that I do not want extra space between my paragraphs. So I'm going to click on Don't Add Space Between Paragraphs of the Same Style. When I hit OK, it is going to adjust that accordingly. I should be set now for most of the paper. Next comes the course that I am taking, English 105, section N1 or T4 or 22, depending on what section you are taking. And next will be the date, the 21st of January 2018. Now my first page only header is complete. If I click enter, whoops, I did not mean to do that. If I click enter, I am now going to head back up to home. I'm going to get ready to center my title. And so your title goes here. All essays need a title, and they should be anything from the essay that will help your reader to be interested. A title can use words from the essay. A title can be very specific in your argument or tone, but it certainly shouldn't be essay number 1 or descriptive essay number 1 or put title here or title or the name of something that you're reading, because that is the name of something else. So the title goes there. If I click on enter, it will double space again. And I want to go back to my left-hand justification. And I can begin after I hit tab, if I hit my tab bar, I have to repeat some steps here. I'm going to tab in so that I can begin typing. So I'm going to begin typing here. This is the introductory paragraph of my essay. If I hit my tab bar, it will tab it exactly, it should be set up to tab it exactly what we need, which is our 0.5 inch that the MLA calls for. So hit your tab bar, and then you can continue typing, excuse me. Once you do that, you can write your paragraphs, just like this writer did. Each new paragraph is tabbed in one. Each new paragraph tabbed in one. We've removed any extra space, so the entire document is double spaced. When you get to the point where you have to type your works cited page, it should be the last page of your essay. So it's part of the pagination of your essay. It is page 4 or it is page 5. And its title is Works Cited. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to page 3. And we will, for now, pretend that our Works Cited page is on page 3. So I am going to center my Works Cited title, okay, which is now centered, and I am going to although that doesn't look very centered, I'm going to fix that then, but that should be centered. I am going to create my Works Cited entry. So again, I want to go back out to the left side. And I'm going to begin my Works Cited entry. Works Cited entries are nearly always begun with the author's last name and first name, unless we do not have an author. And so I would type this: Berlin, Kelly is the author, period. The name of the essay from our textbook is, quote, Domestic Abuse. The period goes inside of the title, Domestic Abuse, end quotation. Essays and articles are placed into quotation marks. And then I must put down the name of the place where this was published. In our case, this was our textbook, the Simon & Schuster Short Prose Reader, which is italicized because it is the title of a major work. We italicize major works. We quote minor works, followed by a comma. Robert W. Funk et al. Are the authors and editors, the contributors to our book. They write the theory, they make comments about grammar, but they don't write the essays that are inside of our book. Next comes the edition, 6th edition, and there should be a period here, period, comma. Prentice Hall is the publisher, comma. 2012 was the date of the original publication, followed by a comma. And then finally, the location within the work. And it was located on pages 69 through 70 in the Simon & Schuster Short Prose Reader, which is our textbook. So because it is more than one page, we type P, period, 69 through 70, period. Now, typically, this is what would happen. You would type this, and the second line would line up with the first line, which is not correct. We need a hanging indent. So what we can do when we get to the Works Cited page is select each one of our entries. We might have 1, we may have 10. And at that point, we go back up to our home, we go to paragraph, we click on paragraph, and under paragraph, we have something called special. If you click on special, you'll find there's some special indents here. I'll scroll down to the hanging indent, click on hanging, click on OK, and you will see the second line, or if you have 3 lines, the second and third line. If you have 4 lines in your entry, the second, third, and fourth line will automatically indent in. Watch. Of course, after this very long video, it didn't work. Okay, so let me try that again. I don't know why that's not working. Typically that does. Probably because it was set up manually by the student who did this. I'll bet that was the problem. Anyway, when you're setting up your entry for the first time, it will work for you. I just grabbed a student sample and I did not realize that it would not indent. This now is what we call hanging indent because the first line hangs over the second line. Okay? That is MLA. Along with the MLA would be the fact that we have 1-inch margins all the way around our document, even on the bottom. It is neat. It is uniform. I hope this video has helped you, except for my little unexpected snafu about the hanging indent. If you have any questions, please email me. I'll be happy to help you with that. Thanks, and have a very good day.